What's going on, everybody? Got a kind of random subject here because not a whole lot going on, but I wanted to talk about it because last night, strolling through Twitter, happened to get into a little exchange with some people on Twitter talking about financial education, I guess would be the way you describe it, but mostly about how school, as in high school, fails American students in educating them about basic financial principles. And I guess my real question for you guys is how it was for you, because I mean, obviously, I'm in high school. I don't remember when our home ec class was where they taught you how to write a check or whatever the fuck we were doing. That was maybe like 10 years ago at this point, or 8 years ago at this point, whatever. Freshman year of high school or something like that. So I don't remember. I'll put that giant caveat in there. I don't really remember what we were taught in home ec, to be honest, and I don't remember how much of the financial concepts we learned. All I do remember is basic budgets, and I remember checkbooks. Even though nobody really writes checks anymore, I guess it's still a useful skill to have. But I basically just I just responded to a tweet or something like that where it's like, I mean, schools could have taught you about so many things financial related, and hopefully that would have saved some people some serious pain down the line. Obviously, we watch or listen to these videos of people going crazy into debt, buying things they can't afford, just wasting their money left and right. I mean, yeah, you're not going to save everybody. Not everybody. I mean, a lot of idiots out there. It's no secret. We got a bunch of morons walking around. In theory, too, I'm assuming. Everybody slams on their brakes. Nobody knows how to drive around here. I'm assuming that if you're watching this kind of niche YouTube channel that's talking about finances and politics, you're probably somebody who's not terrible with their money at a minimum. Or at least you're trying to learn how to do it better, which is the only way to do it. Because if somebody's not going to teach you, obviously, you got to just go seek it for yourself. You would hope high school would be a place that kids could learn, especially if you don't have parents that are the ones who teach you about these things. And that's what I want to know from you guys. I mean, how was your financial education in school? Did you even have any? Because we didn't have a finance class. I'm sure there's nice high schools. I didn't go to some nice high school. Went to a public school, tiny public school. Wasn't great, wasn't bad. We didn't have no finance class, I'll tell you that right now. Like I said, I think it was home ec. We learned how to make like eggs in a boat and fucking write a check. And it's like, okay, well, that's not really the most useful thing of all time. So it's kind of curious. I don't know. Maybe you went to a sweet school where they had a finance class. That would have been interesting. But the disagreement I had with the dude in the comments was basically that he was saying it wouldn't even be worth it even if they did it in high school, because nobody would listen, nobody would care, nobody would pay attention. So he was basically arguing that if people don't pay attention in math class, they wouldn't have paid attention in the finance class. And if you don't know the basic math, you don't know the basic finance stuff, which he's partially right. Like, obviously, there's some basic finance concepts or basic math concepts that you need to do the financial side of things, but it's really not that hard. And I'm not so sure that he's right in the sense of just, I don't know if it's the math skills. I think it's the financial concepts are much more important about how much credit you should be in, how much money you're going to make, your debt to income ratios, what's it called? Like the value of money in the sense of, I can't remember it's like the time cost of money or whatever the fuck. Basically where you're giving up your future by buying things now, like the idea of delayed gratification and all these things. I was basically just saying like, hey, they could have taught you about so many things. I mean, 401ks, all these investment ideas, Roth, individual IRAs, your 401k for work, your HSAs, FSAs, all these health insurance products, how to buy a car, how to buy a house, your mortgages, your car loans, how interest rates work, certain financial events that would have happened in our lifetimes. I mean, 2008, that would have been a solid teaching opportunity. And I just think, a lot of people wouldn't pay attention. That's fine. But to the people who would pay attention, I mean, that shit's so much more valuable than like what did we do? Like algebra 2 in high school or whatever. Who gives a fuck about like limits or whatever the hell we were talking about in algebra 2? Like basic linear equations and stuff like that. Fuck that. That's not really that practical. Help somebody be better with their finances. And it's like, yeah, maybe somebody wouldn't pay attention. Who gives a fuck? The couple kids who would pay attention or would want to learn, which would be me, I'm in that boat. I would assume if you're watching this, you're somewhere along those lines that you probably would have paid some attention. My parents, my mom, I grew up like relatively, I'd say like lower middle class. Like my mom didn't make shit for money. My dad paid child support. There's 4 kids, single mom. My dad made good money, but he didn't live with us. So it's what it is. So I didn't learn financial concepts outside of, which is the most valuable one, is don't spend money you don't have. So I'll give that to my parents for a fact. They're the one who teach you that. But we're moving into this world, this society that's definitely more like, I think in general, like kids that are growing up without fathers and is like all-time highs right now. And that's obviously not a good thing, but also like how many people just don't have parents that, if your parents aren't good with money, how the fuck are you supposed to learn from them if you can't appreciate how they're fucking up and like what mistakes they're making, which is hard for a little kid. Like even a high schooler is probably a hard skill to have or understand, to watch your parents fuck up and then be like, okay, well, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. But even then you don't get the positive end of here's what you should do with your money. And for me, part of the reason I'm making the YouTube channel is to give that to people. Obviously, I would hope to help somebody out there, but it's because that's the same boat I was in. So like everything I know about anything finance related or your skills with money, basically, like I said, besides just don't spend the money you don't have, because if we grew up relatively poor, like you don't have enough money to be buying shit that you don't need. So like that's my general rule that I'm living by until I learn these other things. But I would say almost all my education about it has come from YouTube, and I would say maybe I had one class in college that was like an economics, in my engineering school was like an engineering economics school that like really dives deep into interest rates and some other things, like the more in-depth side of like analyzing costs and cost-benefit analysis on like equipment and shit like that. But it applies to a lot of things. You could use it for a lot of stuff. But using these basic formulas that I'm telling you about. But we didn't really learn shit about like macroeconomics in high school. And we definitely didn't learn about the finer things, like definitely, I don't remember anybody telling the high schoolers about, hey, like credit cards are a dangerous thing. You can use it as a tool, but you got to be real careful. Nobody said that. They didn't say anything about college debt being really dangerous if you're not careful. They just pushed college on the high schoolers. I'm assuming they're still doing that. Hopefully we're getting away from that a little bit. But it's at best subpar. I don't give a fuck if people are going to pay attention or not. You can say they don't pay attention. They don't pay attention to anything anyway in school, if that's your argument. So why not teach them something that's actually useful for the couple kids that are going to pay attention? Like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of the classes that we had that were just like no hate on the art teachers out there. I enjoyed art class, whatever. But what's more important, art class or not fucking yourself financially in the future because you don't understand how credit cards work? You don't understand how to buy a house, do your taxes. You don't understand all these things related to work. You don't understand health insurance. You don't understand car insurance. You don't understand any of these things. And so basically you just get shoved out into the world as soon as you turn 18, go take a bunch of college debt out, get a credit card, and now you're behind the 8 ball off the rip. So, if you gave me 6 months, especially, I don't know, even if you could make it an elective, like a class you could choose to take in high school. I don't even know if that's a thing in most high schools. I can't remember how ours worked. There was a couple classes you could definitely just choose to take one or the other. Well, even make it that. So you say the kids won't pay attention? Give it to the kids who want to learn or know they don't understand, and make a point to emphasize how important it is, because of all the things you learn in school, besides obviously basic concepts of reading, writing, math, like the basic things you definitely need, I mean, financial literacy would be like top of the peak for me. I mean, physical education, I'd say, it's kind of like a joke in high school anyway. I mean, it's like, what are you gonna go do? Fucking curl 5-pound dumbbells and learn nothing about anything? Go play dodgeball? I don't know what the fuck we're doing. But I'd like to know if you guys agree with that, because I thought it was odd that, I mean, somebody's pushing back on this idea like, oh, because kids won't pay attention, it's their own fault, blah, blah, blah. I mean, nowadays, in a lot of ways, it is your own fault. If you're fucking up financially, it's kind of your fault, because the internet's right there at your fingertips. If you're watching this video, you definitely have the internet, so go learn. I'm making these videos trying to help people learn, I would say, but unlimited amount of content to go watch, go read, go see, go watch people fuck it up, go watch people succeed. I mean, it's out there. You don't have to look very hard, and you can find all the financial content you want. So at this point, if you're still blowing it, which is wild because there's still so many people fucking it up for themselves, for the people around them, for their families. And it's honestly pretty sad. So that's why I was like, that's what made me comment on that. I was like, what the fuck? Of course, put a financial class in high school. Like, help as many people as you can. People who manage their money better and don't live paycheck to paycheck are going to be a boon to the society they're living in, way more than somebody who struggles their whole life. And I mean, I don't know if it's like a conspiratorial thing of like some bullshit where whoever basically lobbies for the education curriculum would keep that out of it, because people who spend their money responsibly and are good with money aren't really great, in the sense of like they're not going to be buying the new iPhone every year, they're not going to be buying the new car every year, they're not going to be buying the house they can't afford, and they're not going to consume as much. So maybe there's some weird going on. I wouldn't put it past our government to be getting lobbied by huge companies and banks and who knows what the fuck else, to be like, yeah, keep these people like below average, I would say, as far as financial education, so they'll just spend money they don't have, and we'll keep them locked into debt their whole life, and that's good for us, and it fucks them, and who cares about them, because it's not really that big of a deal. But I don't know, it's probably a short little video, honestly. I got a whole lot to talk about. We got CPI tomorrow, I think, got some other financial data coming out, so if you got some other video, like it, subscribe. Like I said, please drop a comment, let me know what you think. If somebody disagrees, that's what I really want to hear. Why the fuck would you disagree with that? Like, give the people the tools. Let them do what they want after that. That's all I got to say about it. Catch you guys tomorrow.